Jack. I wanted to leave you some feedback on essay one. Overall, really good work on this essay. You have a pretty good summary here, a clear claim presented, a clear thesis, good key ideas, evidence for support, and you're doing a pretty good job of unpacking your evidence. So bringing in that analysis. So as a whole, I think the essay is working quite well. There's just a couple things here and there that I want to talk to you about. First off, uh, you won't want, in this case where you have an introductory phrase where you're using a title, you actually want your comma to go inside of the quotation marks there. So just a small thing to keep in mind. There, yeah, there's a couple of things in your introduction that I want to talk to you about, just some small things in the writing. Um, you say he asks himself several questions and creates a sense of doubt in his mind as if this is ethical or not. Since the this in this sentence is so broad, it's not clear if you mean the execution or the questions. And honestly, the sentence reads like you're saying that the questions may be ethical or unethical, but I don't think that's what you mean. I think you're referring to the execution. So do some tweaking in this sentence to make the noun here more narrow and specific. I like this idea, but I wish that you included what those observations are. So I think at the end of this sentence, you could make a small list of what those observations are. You've got a really good summary sentence here. It just feels like there's this tiny gap between your summary and the thesis, right? So there's almost like this tiny little speed bump, like this gap in logic. So if you could find a way to do a little bit more writing here, maybe about Orwell's purpose, to kind of lead into the thesis, I think that this would read better, read strongly. Moving on, your key idea is working well. I really like the way that you have unpacked the evidence here. Pay attention to your repetition here, where you have this comparison and this comparison. Do your best not to include that repetition there. I also like your use of talking about the appeals, and I think they work well. Um, I think, however, it would be a good idea to break this paragraph down maybe into three smaller paragraphs, um, because readers like information in chunks, and they base that chunk based on like content. So even though everything in this paragraph falls under the umbrella of the use of pathos, you're talking about different examples. So I think when you bring up the different examples, like here, you move from the path, how he uses pathos to establish setting. Here, how he uses pathos in his description, and then yeah, I think that that would be a better change. Uh, the only other thing that I would recommend is in your in your conclusion, you have a very effective summary, but I'd like you to push this beyond summary, right? So remember, in conclusions, we want to provide the implications of this discussion, or perhaps a call to action. So one thing to perhaps reflect on, this essay is, gosh, pretty close to 100 years old. So why should we still read this, right? Is this an important topic to continue to look at? Um, what kind of connections can we make to the 21st century? Or perhaps you could provide a specific call to action here. But it kind of just feels like the discussion got cut off short, right? Because all you do is summarize. But if you could add on that discussion, I think that this will be pretty effective. All right. Thank you so much, and let me know if you have any questions.